Hey there LEGO fans! As you can plainly see, today I'll be building a 6x6 Volvo Articulated Hauler, an advanced Technics kit that should be loaded with mechanical features, all remote controlled from your smartphone, and having 3 motors, one large, extra large, and a large angular position motor, sounds pretty cool, coming all together to make one pretty cool playset. If it's anything like the rough terrain crane, this is probably going to be one of my top kits, and definitely looking forward to seeing how it all comes together. So, let's get this box opened up, see what we have inside, get this build underway so we can start playing with the 6x6 Volvo Articulated Hauler. As expected, this 6-wheel drive dump truck is quite impressive. The technical features within surpass my expectations. Of course, I was expecting to be able to drive it and empty the dump truck, but I wasn't expecting to handle so well over uneven terrain, and I was completely blown away to discover it has an automatic transmission. But before we get into any of that, let's start with some aesthetics. Looking at the exterior, of course, we have a very big, bright yellow 6-wheel drive dump truck. Prominently displayed right in front, we have the Volvo logo right over the front grille. On either side and a little bit lower down, there are 4 headlights, looking really tiny here, but actually it's the truck that's huge and these headlights are pretty much normal sized. And up top, above the driver's cab, there's an additional pair of floodlamps. Along the right side of the hood, right at the very top, is written A60H, which is the model number of this vehicle because this is a real vehicle and not something I just made up for this LEGO kit. And just beneath that, there's a grille with a fan to keep that massive engine well cooled. Moving a little further back, we have the first of the 6 massive 94.3 by 38R tires, an orange railing which our driver would make good use of as he climbs in and out of this massive vehicle, and sticking out way to the side of this vehicle, a large side view mirror, because this is a very wide load. Just behind the driver's cab, we have the battery compartment, which is very conveniently located for easy battery replacement, and the power switch is located on the inside of the cab, but it's very easy to hit, as all you have to do is give a slight little turn to your orange construction light on top, and that hits the power button. Moving a little further back, we can see exposed on this side the large LEGO motor. This one would be controlling the automatic transmission. Just behind that, we have the first of the 2 linear actuators, which are used for elevating and lowering the dump truck bed, and 2 more of those massive wheels. All the way in the back, there's not too much to see here. We've got the open end of the dump truck bed, and some brake and turning lights. And then, coming around to the right side, we see much the same as that we saw on the left side. 3 large wheels, 1 linear actuator, and an exposed motor. But in this case, this is the extra large motor, which controls not only the driving of the truck, but also the elevation of the dump truck bed. And then all the way in front, we have the driver's cab, which has seating for one little steering wheel, which does turn as you drive the vehicle, but you can't actually steer it from here. And on the right hand side, the dump truck controls. The steering for this vehicle works by shifting the entire front of the vehicle from front to left, as opposed to having just the wheels turn on their own, and it has quite a flexible connection to the back of the truck, as it's able to tip upwards and downwards in relation to the back, in addition to having the whole back end being able to twist to one side or the other, making it easy to traverse very uneven terrain. To expose the engine compartment, first you must pull out this little central pin, then the whole front end can flip down, exposing a small orange ladder. Because this engine compartment is so big, the mechanic needs a ladder to get inside of it, and then you can flip up the front hood, so we can view this absolutely massive 6-cylinder engine. Flipping it over so we can get a look at the underside, all the way in the front, first thing we see is these little paddles which turn in sequence, which make the little pistons in the engine move up and down. Slightly further back, we have the 2 front wheels, which are joined up with the first of the 3 differentials. And making our way all the way to the back, we have the last 4 wheels, which themselves are also connected up with differentials of their own. As you can see here, most of the power is being transferred to the front wheels, but the rear wheels are still moving themselves, and I can grab any one of these wheels and the power will transfer. As I grab the front one, you can see the rear one speed up. If I grab one of the rear ones, not too much change here because there isn't a whole lot of power in this back wheel. Or if I stop the 2 front wheels together, you can see the rear wheels pick up the slack. Now we come to the 4-position gearbox, which has 3 positions related to the drive, mainly drive 1, drive 2, and drive 3, and the 4th position transferring the power instead of to the wheels to the dump truck bed. This is all controlled by this one orange piece here, which, as you rotate it, will make this gray slider up here and another one located below, identical, slide to a position where it either engages the gear on the left, the gear on the right, or sits in the middle, neutral, engaging nothing, giving us the ability to drive the dump truck at 3 different speeds so we can get to our destination and dump out those Lego bricks. Unfortunately, there are a few spots in the back where the bricks do get caught, but hey, still a lot of fun. And now for the controls, where we have 2 layers to choose from, this one here being the automatic one, where over on the left, we have the controls for raising and lowering the truck bed. Over on the complete right hand side, we have the transmission controls, currently on neutral. We can switch to drive, or lock in drive 2 or drive 1. And then in the bottom left hand corner, we have a little trackpad for driving. The controls are really quite intuitive. Placing your finger down in front of the truck will make it drive forward, slightly to the left will make it turn left, just as to the right will of course make it turn right, and as you keep your finger down, the automatic transmission will shift through the gears, going from drive 1 to drive 2 to full speed at drive 3. And conversely, putting your finger down behind the truck will make it back up, where it'll shift through reverse gear 1, 2, and 3. Alternately, by swiping to the right, you bring up the manual controls, which also has an automatic component. On the left-hand side, you can select between drive, /forward, and reverse, in addition to having the controls for raising and lowering the truck bed. At the top right, currently empty is selected, meaning manual transmission, but alternately you can select automatic transmission, allowing the truck to shift through gears on its own. But for this example, we're going to go back to the manual transmission, where you can lock in the gear of your choosing, first and second, which was available through the automatic transmission, but here you can also manually choose the 3rd speed. And then, by grabbing the little paddles and pulling them outwards, you engage a drive motor. And from there, just tip them to the left or to the right to steer, which personally I find to be much more intuitive. Put all this together and you got one pretty fun, pretty cool remote controlled truck. Seen here, driving in 1st gear, because unfortunately, drive 2 and drive 3 don't quite have the torque to make it over this uneven surface, but it still crawls along, making it through the brush, and then taking a little turn, coming up this rock, having a really steep climb, but gear 1 is able to get up it, and as you can see, coming over the top, the whole front and back end twist separately, allowing for front and rear wheels together to maintain contact with the ground, so that this little truck can make its way up this steep cliff and travel down safely. For a little comparison, here's what drive 3 looks like over a smooth level surface. Not that fast, but hey, it's still fun. Unfortunately, I have found one deficiency with this kit, and that has to do with the joint that allows the front and the rear end to twist separately from each other. While driving around, there have been no issues. This joint is definitely robust enough to handle any of the situations that I've been able to throw at it. But when carrying this kit around, you need to make sure to support the rear and front end of this truck equally. Otherwise, it can actually separate. And I can tell you from experience that reconnecting these two is not as simple as it might seem. This was much easier to do during the build phase because things were a little more accessible. Although I have figured out how to do it, I can get done pretty quickly now, it's still a little bit annoying and slightly disappointing. But overall, I'm really impressed with this kit. The mechanical features within are just phenomenal. They all pack into a tight little space. The automatic transmission kind of blew my mind. I absolutely love that it's included. And even though it doesn't drive around that quickly, it's still a lot of fun to play with. So as a play kit, this one really gets top marks, and it really deserves it. As a display kit, I'm going to give it a fair grade. I mean, it's certainly large, it's impressive, it's yellow so it grabs your attention, and all the exposed gears, linear actuators, and other components do look pretty cool. So, both as a Technics kit and from the technical perspective, there's a lot to appreciate here, but it's lacking the finer details and smooth finishing pieces that really set apart the top display kits. And as to components that you might be tempted to reuse in a future build, this kit is absolutely packed with them. First off, and most obviously, we have the Bluetooth controller, plus 3 completely different LEGO motors, and 6 massive wheels. Then you have the 3 differentials, 2 linear actuators, a whole smorgasbord of different types of gears. I mean, this thing is just loaded. It's awesome. So, while it doesn't score that well as a display piece, it is still quite attention grabbing and gets top marks both as a play kit and parts to reuse for the future. So, if you're really into those intricate Technics builds, I currently think that this is one of the best options out there.